P3, linear equations and inequalities. Very much review today. Very much review. When we get to graphing inequalities, though, and writing their answers, we'll talk about using interval notation instead of inequality notation. But other than that, we definitely get to do some review today. So, and I would call this true review because I really think you've seen it all. How many years ago? I don't know, but you've seen it all. So, example 1. Prove that x equals -2 is a solution of the equation x cubed minus x plus 6 equals 0. Thoughts on how we do that?
Plug in -2 for x.
Yeah, plug in -2 for x. If it is a solution, both sides will work out to be the same. So we're going to take this -2 and plug it in. So -2 to the third minus -2 plus 6. And basically the question is, does that equal 0? So -2 to the third is
-8.
Negative times negative is -2 times -2 is +4 times another -2 is -8. Minus a -2 is +4 plus 6.
0, yeah.
Yeah, don't ask. Thank you for pointing it out, though. So minus a negative is a plus. For whatever reason, I saw squared in my brain. I don't know, because that's honestly what I think it is. I squared it. So -8 plus 2 plus 6. And my brain did start freaking out. I thought this worked out okay. Okay, -8 plus 2 plus 6 is 0. So what do we know? 0 equals 0, and so yes, it is a solution, which we knew it was supposed to be. The key was to prove. Showing your steps there, showing your work is proving that it is indeed a solution. Okay, example 2. An equation. I wouldn't say a big bad equation, but it's not even really that bad. What's the first step need to look like? Distributive property, yes? So we're going to distribute the 2. 4x minus 6. Plus, I'm going to distribute the 3. 3x plus 3 equals 5x plus 2. After you distribute, what should we do next? Yeah, combine like terms there. I would start on the left, obviously. Let's see. 4x and 3x is going to be 7x minus 6 plus 3 minus 3. So now I have the equation 7x minus 3 equals 5x plus 2. What? How are we going to find out? Okay. So to get the x by itself, we want to move our
3 to the right.
Okay.
Add 3 to both sides.
Noah's saying add 3 to both sides, so he's getting his plain numbers to the right, which means we also are going to
Subtract 5x.
subtract 5x and move it to the left. You're in pre-cal. You can handle if I do these both at the same time, right? So I'm going to add my 3 over to the right. I'm going to subtract my 5x to get it, cancel, and moves it to the left. So 7x minus 5x is 2x minus 3 plus 3 cancels. 5x minus 5x cancels. 2 plus 3 is 5. If it's 2x equals 5, how do we solve?
Divide by 2.
Yeah, divide by 2. How should we express this answer?
X equals 5.
I am perfectly fine with 5/2. Equivalent answer would be 2.5. I'm fine with that as well. But there are so many times it's just better to leave it as a fraction. Bless you. Okay. Your favorite is next. Solving an equation with fractions involved. Sophie's look on her face says it all. It just really does. She just has this look of, oh, no, this, yeah. Okay. Different people will start different ways, so I have a way I kind of want to lead you, but thoughts? Yeah, get rid of the fractions. Okay, that's going to be my recommendation. Or to get rid of the fractions, what do we want? How do we get rid of those fractions? Okay, yeah. Multiply by least common multiple. Officially, I always say, what would be the least common denominator? If we're getting a common denominator by what's there. So 8 and 4, what do they both go into? No, that's greatest common factor. So least common multiple, they both, like if we're getting a common denominator, they both go into 8. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 8. Okay. Now I'm going to put mine, kind of writing it in right there. I like the left side. When we multiply by 8, 8 as a fraction is 8 over 1. What happens here? Yeah. 8's cancel. And what remains on the left? 5y minus 2. Well, that was worth it right there. Okay. Next, 2 plus y over 4. Because I have two terms being added, officially I need to distribute the 8. Okay. So the first piece is 2 times 8, which 2 times 8 is 16. Plus, what about when you do y over 4 times 8 over 1? What'd you say?
8y over 2.
It'd be 8y over 4, but I'm not going to bother writing 8y over 4 because what do we know about 8 divided by 4? It's 2, which I think is why you had the 2.
Somewhere.
I think that's why you were saying 2 because you were combining. Yeah. The idea here is that if you divide them both by 4, 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2, so this becomes 2y. I cannot stress how important it is to be able to work an equation like this that has fractions, as opposed to turning around and running the other way and saying, I can't do it.
This is why Mario checks my homework.
Okay. Now, are we comfortable with what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I personally am going to subtract my 2y, and I'm going to add my 2. 5y minus 2y is 3y. 2 is cancel. 16 plus 2 is 18. 2 y's cancel. 3y equals 18, and so divide by 3, and y is 6. I don't do this a lot, but as a teacher, I always need to at least ask once. How do you check your answer if you want to check it? Plug it in, yes. If you want to check this, you would take 6, plug it in here. We'd have what? 30 minus 2 is 28 over 8. Over here, yeah, it wouldn't be a fun check here, would it? 6 over 4 plus 2. Okay. It works out, I know that. But that's why the check is not, sometimes it's an easy check, sometimes not. That one's not such an easy check. Okay, equation review good? Mm-hmm. Again, it's just, you've got to, worst one here is the fractions, just because you guys want to run away from them. Okay. Example 4. Changing it up, now we are talking about inequalities. So as we talk about these inequalities, first step, yes. First step is to distribute. 3x minus 3 plus 2 less than or equal to 5x plus 6. After you distribute that 3 on the left, what would you like to do? Okay. Although I would say one thing before I get the x's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would combine like terms. And it's not that you couldn't start moving x's around. I mean, who knows? It's, not one right way. So this would become 3x minus 1 when I combine minus 3 plus 2. Now as we start moving stuff around, curious what you guys are going to tell me to do.
Get the x's by themselves.
How do you want to get the x's by themselves?
Subtract 5x.
Okay. Subtract 5x? I'm fine with that. I just know some people would argue the other way and say, I'd rather subtract 3x because I'd rather keep my x positive.
Yeah.
Now, neither is more right than the other. They're both equally fine. Because we are working with inequalities, I hesitate. There's pros and cons both ways. So I don't have a definite way. If you subtract the 3x, eventually you'll have to flip your problem. I'm actually going to subtract the 5x because it gives me an opportunity to show something else as well. So I don't care which you do because you'll meet me in the end. Just pay attention to what I say. So if I subtract 5x, I'm also going to add 1. 3x minus 5x is
2x.
negative 2x, less than or equal to 7. What do I do to solve?
Divide -2 and then you have to flip the sign.
Okay. The reason I went this way is because I've now set myself up to divide by a negative. And the rule I want to remind you of is anytime you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative, you reverse the inequality sign. Sound familiar? So x is x, less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to negative 7/2. Now, those of you that moved it and got a positive 2x on the right, your answer looks backwards until you flip it, yes? And just remember when you flip left to right, you of course change the inequality sign. Now, if you glance down at the bottom, it says write all inequality answers in interval notation. So, I talked about interval notation last week, right? How do we write x greater than or equal to negative 7/2 in interval notation? And if you're not sure, it doesn't say to graph it, but can you sketch a graph if you need that visual? What does the graph of x greater than or equal to negative 7/2 look like? Greater than or equal to takes me to the right. What do I put at negative 7/2?
The brackets.
Yeah. Bracket. It would have been a filled-in closed circle previously, yes. But with interval notation, we talk about a bracket. Now, does that help tell you how to write interval notation? Where does my shaded interval begin? Negative 7/2 with a bracket x is equal to. Where does my shaded interval end? Right arrow, which is infinity. Infinity always uses parentheses. Okay, I know we had a weekend thrown in there. Is that sounding familiar now? Okay. I'm ready for example 5 if you're ready. Stop me if you have questions. Solve the inequality and graph its solution, write in interval notation. And I'm going to tell you, like last one didn't say interval notation, this one does, in homework. I don't care what it says. Your answers are going to be in interval notation. And I'll remind you again when I assign the homework, and some of you will still forget come tomorrow. Or when you sit down to do homework later. Okay, x over 3 plus 1/2 greater than x over 4 plus 1/3. Fun. What do we do? You could get a common denominator and work with these fractions with a common denominator if you wanted to.
These fractions aren't that hard to work.
Yeah, these fractions aren't horrible to work with. So you could get a common denominator, work with the fractions. Other thought? we can get rid of the fractions. And getting rid of the fractions is multiplying by the common denominator that you guys just mentioned over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So either way works. I'm personally going to take the let's get rid of the fraction route. If you'd rather meet me do the other way and meet me at the end, you're capable, that's fine. So I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 12. 12 as a fraction, of course, is 12 over 1. Now, on my first fraction, 3 and 12 cancel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 3 divided by itself is 1. 12 divided by 3 becomes 4x. On my next fraction, it's multiplying 12 times a half. So you can just take half of 12. Or cross cancel. 2 divided by 2 cancels becomes 1. 12 divided by 2 leaves me with 6. Greater than. Okay, distribute the 12 again. 4 and 12. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So x divided by 12 is 3. Or excuse me. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3 times the x is there. So 3x. And then you're multiplying a third of 12, which a third of 12 is 4, or cross cancel. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 12 divided by 3 is 4, multiplied by the one that's there. That just made this an incredibly easy equation, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to ask you what to do? I'm subtracting 3x, I'm getting x. And I'm subtracting 6 to the other side and getting negative 2. So I'm going to box this as an answer. But it's not really the final answer I want, is it? Now this one did specifically say graph, didn't it? Again, I'm going to go very basic though. If we're graphing negative 2, x greater than negative 2, what's that look like? Okay. Doing parentheses this time because it's not equal to. Shading it to the right. And I didn't put on other numbers. Technically, you should have a few other numbers there. Interval notation. Where does my shaded interval begin? Negative 2 with a parenthesis. Where's my shaded interval end? Infinity, which always has parentheses. Okay. One more? I am right in thinking there's only a back front side. Yes. Okay. Solve the inequality, graph its solution, write interval notation. Okay, what do you notice about this one? There's 3. So instead of whatever we do to the left, we do to the right. Now it's whatever you do to the left, you're going to do to the center and the right. Or whatever you do to the center, you're going to do to the center, left, and right. Or however you want to say it.
Everything.
Yeah. So what's my goal here? Where am I trying? What's my final goal?
Get x in the middle.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, we want x by itself. This time it's going to be in the middle, yes? So you're looking at that middle, 2x plus 5 divided by 3. What's my first step? Yeah, get rid of the fraction. How do we get rid of a divide by 3?
Multiply by 3.
Multiply by 3. So I'm going to multiply that piece by 3. I'll multiply that piece by 3. And multiply that piece by 3. It is so easy, even though you know you're supposed to just overlook a piece, so be careful. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9, less than. When I multiply the middle by 3, cancels. 2x plus 5, less than or equal to 15. And okay, if it's 2x plus 5, just like you would normally, get rid of the 5. Now that means I'm subtracting 5 in 3 places, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Negative 9 minus 5 is negative 14, less than, still a 2x in the middle, 5 minus 5 cancels, less than or equal to, 15 minus 5 is 10. Yeah, x is almost by itself in the middle. We're going to divide by 2. At this point, I end up with
Negative 7 less than x less than or equal to 5.
okay. Negative 7 less than x less than or equal to 5. So compound inequality. Technically, this is an and statement. What's this look like as a graph? Okay. She says negative 7 parentheses, then 5 in a bracket, and the shading is where? In the middle, right? Because this is where x is between these two numbers with less than signs. So yes, x is between these two numbers. If you reverse this left part, it's x greater than negative 7. So thus, why I was told parentheses and you're shading to the right. The other piece is x less than or equal to 5, so that is a bracket, and that is shaded to the left. With a compound inequality that's an and statement like this, you're looking for where does the shading overlap. And the shading overlaps in between negative 7 and 5. How do we write the interval notation here? Where does my shaded interval begin? Negative 7 with parentheses. Where's my shaded interval end? 5. Bracket. It kind of looks like an ordered pair in a way, doesn't it? But it's not really an ordered pair. Okay, it's interval notation. So you have to look at the context of the situation. So I'm going to remind you, even though I've already said it, even though it's written, write all inequality answers in this homework in interval notation. Is it going to tell you to use interval notation? Not necessarily, but it's a skill we need to practice. So that's why I'm telling you to do it. So let's see. Your homework, if you haven't already checked it out, is on page 25. And it's all evens. What is it? 12 through 28, 36 through 54, and both sections are evens. So it's 12 through 28 evens, 36 to 54 evens.
20.
Okay. Okay. Have that done for tomorrow. You have some work time right now. However, I'm also going to put up the answer key because I know we were still finishing stuff up Friday. So I'll put up the answer key from Friday's assignment that was due.